Yo, what's up you guys? It's Josh here. Welcome back to another vlog. And in today's video, I want to talk about the idea of becoming an athlete entrepreneur. Now, I forget where I found this term from. I forget who coined it, but the word really resonated with me. And now that I think about it, I think becoming an athlete entrepreneur is one of the best things that could ever happen to you. And I'm not saying I'm a successful athlete entrepreneur like I haven't made already. No, I'm still a work in progress. I'm still on my way to effectively doing so. I just want to share with you guys what it's been like on this journey so far and the things that I'm learning about myself and the way I'm starting to see the world very different as I'm entering this phase in my life. And my life is turning out so much more better for it. My life is so much more optimistic. I feel more certain about the things that I'm going to achieve this year and the following years to come. So, what is an athlete entrepreneur? Now, I don't know the technical definition, honestly. This is probably just a bro science term, but nonetheless, I think an athlete entrepreneur is someone who is an athlete or athletic, right? Someone who prioritizes their training, their nutrition, recovery, and they take all of the principles, the fundamentals that come with it, and translate it into business, into their personal branding, their personal image, their marketing, etc. Right? So there's a few traits that I've written down that, in my opinion, are very important to becoming an athlete. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a high performing athlete, although I do believe I perform pretty high. I'm not like one of these bodybuilders. I don't have like a crazy physique, but I do have a very nice composition. I do have very decent proportions where I look really good in suits, menswear, things like that. Anyways, few characteristics, right? Discipline. Discipline is one thing that you will develop over time as you become more of an athlete when you take your training and your nutrition seriously, right? Because you have to follow your program regardless of how you feel, right? There's going to be some days where you want to perform more than you're required, but you know that you have to allow time for recovery. So you just stick with the calendar. There's other times where you don't feel like performing, you're tired, something came up, you're mentally not there, but you have to perform anyways. So you follow through on that, right? So these are forms of discipline. And that, in my opinion, just applies to business. Even if it's not business, even if it's into your personal life. In my opinion, you are a business. You are a personal brand, right? The way you present yourself, the way you do things in life, the way you communicate. You're a personal brand, right? So discipline is something that translates from being an athlete into an entrepreneur. You show up no matter what. You do what you are required to do, regardless of how you feel, right? Another characteristic of an athlete entrepreneur is clear and precise focus, right? One thing that has been developing over these past, I guess you could say, few weeks for me is just the level of focus that I'm starting to achieve. And that's all because of my training and nutrition. I realized that I'm so focused on making sure that I hit my macros, I do my training correctly, and I'm on time at the gym. Like, I basically kind of have blinders on. I pretty much prioritize this first and then everything else comes after that. And what I realize is that with this kind of level of focus, it starts translating into everything else that I do, like even my tasks, my maintenance tasks, right, like chores and stuff, and then tasks to move the online business forward, right? So when I am making YouTube videos like this, my attention isn't anywhere else but this. Or when I am doing the work that my coach is giving me online, I make sure that my attention and my focus is only on that. I've been learning to not multitask anymore and just focus on one thing at a time, but at the highest level of quality. Because if your attention is split into like 5 different things, right? Or maybe not even 5, let's just say even 3. You have to do your errands, clean your apartment, you have to make a YouTube video, and then you have to do your online work, right? You're never going to have sheer focus because you have other things in the back of your mind. But when you take these traits of an athlete and you apply it into your personal life / business life, you learn how to focus clearly, one thing at a time, and you leverage so much more progress off of doing that. Okay? Another trait of an athlete, someone who prioritizes their training nutrition, specificity, right? You're specific with the macros that you take. You're specific with the amount of carbohydrates you're taking in for your performance, your fats for your hormones, your protein for your recovery and muscle growth, right? You're specific with how much of that is being absorbed for your type of body. You're specific with your training, right? Because the training program that you decide to adapt, or the program that's prescribed to you by your coach, or whatever you find online, it's a specific program to lead you to a specific type of result. Okay, so specificity is very important. And I think that this is probably one of the most profound things and beneficial things of becoming an athlete entrepreneur. When you are way more specific with yourself and how you want to run a business, or what business you want to do and what you can become good at, everything narrows down, and it's so much easier to select on what to do and how to go about things. So when you're specific, things are a bit more guaranteed, in my opinion. You're less wishy-washy and you have more direction. And I think that's probably the most important thing of it all, right? Like, speed is very important, yes, but I think direction is even more important. And that's what specificity guarantees you, that direction. And then another thing about being an athlete, right, when it comes to training nutrition, is just resilience. There's going to be days where, at least in my life, where I don't feel like performing, right? Or, I'm sorry, I don't perform well. There's going to be bad training days. There's going to be bad nutrition days where you go off your meal plan. Maybe you binge a little bit, right? Maybe you get injured from a workout, right? It could be a mental thing as well. Maybe there's just something mentally going on and you don't feel confident enough. Example, like maybe you gained some body fat, or you lost a little bit of muscle tissue, and that's kind of affecting your psyche, right? You have to recover from that. So you have to be resilient in all of these things that you go through. And that translates into business, into your personal life, everything. It translates really well, because when you're able to do that with your performance, nutrition, and just mentally, it makes everything else so much easier to recover from. Like, the amount of videos that I've made that have flopped but still keep me going is because of everything that I've learned from my training and my nutrition. You can't hit it perfect all the time. We're human, okay? So resilience is another important character trait that you develop becoming an athlete entrepreneur. And it's probably one of the most important, because it prevents you from quitting, and it keeps you set on your goals. Like, no matter how hard things get, no matter what you're going through, if you want it that bad, you will become resilient enough to go for it again and again. And then just plain hard work and effort, you just naturally learn this over time. As you slowly progress, in your training, becoming an athlete, when you start to see a little progress into your physique, maybe you notice your face leaning out a little bit more, or your proportions are looking a little bit better. You work harder, you're more encouraged, you put more effort into it. Same goes for online businesses. At least my online business is more of this YouTube channel and the product that I'm developing around it. And what I notice is that when I make smaller bits of progress. I work even harder myself. So hard work and effort, it's another trait that you will develop becoming an athlete entrepreneur. And one of the things that I heard from Charlie Morgan, yeah, I have it written down here. Charlie Morgan, he said that every business model works, right? They're just vehicles of income. And what it really comes down to is how well the business model will perform is down to who's driving it. Meaning the way he's basically going about it is it all comes down to you as a person, right? How the model performs is just a direct extension slash reflection of who you are as a person. Are you disciplined? Are you structured? Are you particular? Are you specific? Are you resilient? All of these things. It all goes hand in hand. And I think this is why you should become an athlete entrepreneur. It's just a fast track of your self-development, really. You become more cognizant of your capabilities, what your inadequacies are. Because I certainly am finding out so many things about myself as I am developing this business. I'm starting to realize the things that I'm not so skilled at and things I need to improve on, for sure, right? And then I'm starting to realize some of my strengths as well. So entrepreneurship just really reveals a lot about yourself. It's just an amplified version of self-improvement, in my opinion. Just a 100x, really. So it's a never-ending game. And in my opinion, that's when you lose, when you stop deciding to improve, when you decide to get complacent with where you are. That's the real enemy of it all. So if you want to become an athlete entrepreneur, I highly encourage it. It's a fantastic way of self-development in everything. Your communication gets better, your physique gets better, your self-reflection gets better, your ability to learn new processes gets better. You become more coachable, right? You become more moldable. That's what it is. You're not exactly definite, right? You need to be able to adapt. That's really what I'm seeing from being an athlete entrepreneur, is just being able to adapt to current new market conditions. That applies in your training, being able to adapt, right? My coach just changed my diet this morning. Not by much, but we reduced the calories, we upped the cardio, things like that. It's just being able to adapt. All of it goes hand in hand. So that's all I have for you in today's video. I hope you took away something from it. This is probably one of the best things that could ever happen to you, like I said. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I'll see you on the next video.